Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Ukrainians are becoming more bolder and more capable. I mean, you can be bold, but you need resources to put them in practice. In this case, last night, so overnight, the Ukrainians conducted, so far as the media reports, a few drone attacks on Russian territory. And I'm not talking about Russian territory, the one that is under, just newly annexed from Ukraine, but Russia per se. And these attacks were not conducted, 2 miles across the border, but on the contrary, I think hundreds of miles within, inside Russia. So I will make a series of about 3 videos on these drone attacks, and I will start with the first one, which I think is one of the boldest due to its location, position on the map. So let's start with the article. I have 2 articles coming from 2 Ukrainian sources. They basically say the same, but maybe we find a little bit of a detail here more than on the other one. So this is Ukrainska Pravda from today, Tuesday, 28th of February 2023. Explosions heard in Krasnodar Krai in Russia. Oil refinery on fire. And let's see where this might be. Because you go, okay, well, whatever. Another refinery next to the border. So I'm going to go to this map. And we have here Ukraine, obviously, as it used to be. Here is Russia. And this is Crimea. This is the Black Sea. Now, Krasnodar is right here. Krasnodar Krai is right here in this area. So the drones attacked, or whatever were used, came from somewhere on this part. Flew over the Azov Sea or around. I don't know if they came that way yet. I didn't read the article. We're going to read it together. So on a different map, here is a Russian map again. It shows you, this is where the war occurs right here, the front. This is the Russian territories that they annexed and they're fighting on. I mean, they are under the Russian control. This is Sevastopol with Crimea. And here is Krasnodar, this area. So the Ukrainians must have shot something from here, to go over here. I mean, this is at least, I would say, because I know the distances in this little country here, since I've been living here some time. So I know that from the center, where I used to live here, like in Transylvania right here, from here to here is, I would say, about, in straight line, maybe 300 miles, 200 miles, something like this, 200 miles. So if I put that here, let's say, here to here would be at least 300 miles, 200 miles, 300 miles, at least. In straight line. So the Ukrainians must have some ability now, or they have before anyway, when they shot those Engels airfields like 400 miles inside Russia. So here is the place. From Georgia, I don't know if you could have done that, but I doubt that these guys would have helped. So let's read the articles now. So explosions heard at Krasnodar Krai. There were explosions overnight in the Russian city of Tuapse, which is right here. So it's even further than Krasnodar right here. So you have here Krasnodar, and Tuapse is right here. Tuapse, right here. And this is Sochi. Oh my, don't tell me that. This is where Putin has a few things here, doesn't he? In Sochi, where he meets all kind of dictators. All right, so there were explosions overnight in the Russian city of Tuapse in Krasnodar Krai, followed by a fire at a Rosneft oil refinery. This was reported by Russian and Latvian-based media outlet Meduza. Quote from Russian telegram channels: there was an explosion at the Tuapse, let's put it bigger so we have it beautiful here, oil refinery, then a second one The windows of nearby houses were blown out. It is not clear what is burning, but it looks like oil dumps. This is, I don't know, you need a lot of, there's a different, big area covered, but whatever. Unless it was somewhere on the territory, it was not a drone or a missile. Details. A photo of the fire was also published online. Well, it was not this one. I saw some other pictures, and it was much bigger than this little thing. Local authorities confirmed on the VK social network site that there was an explosion at the oil refinery at night, but said there is no cause for concern. And quote, Russian propaganda initially refusing to use the word vrzvi, explosion, used klopok, a bang, instead. However, klopok also means cotton, and this has since become a meme. Quote from administration of Tuapse. Dear residents of Tuapse city, regarding the overnight explosions at the oil refinery, a report was received about a fire in an outbuilding at the oil refinery at 2:15 on February 28, 2023. The fire was contained at an area of 200 square meters at 2:30, and the fire was completely put out by 3 o'clock. The administration claimed that the oil tanks were not affected. There were no spills or casualties. The authorities have not named the cause of the incident. Well, the thing is, the pictures that I saw and the reports from other outlets show a little difference. Now, a little thing that is different to that. And because the Ukrainians also attacked 3 more locations overnight in Russia. One by Moscow, a problem in St. Petersburg as well. They closed the airspace over there. It was crazy for about, I don't know, 7 hours or so. New Voice of Ukraine, all depots set on fire in Tuapse. Russian locals report explosions, drone attack. Remember, this is by the Ukrainians. February 28, 2023. The large fire at the video circulating. Now, this is a different little picture here, but let's go. Preliminary reports from Tuapse City Council said 2 drones exploded at the terminal, and local earlier reported on Telegram Messenger hearing 2 loud explosions a few seconds apart. So they reported preliminary. According to the independent Telegram channel Astra, the area was attacked by 2 unidentified aircraft. The terminal's boiler room was damaged, and 2.5 meter deep holes were found next to the building. Astra also added that 30 meters from the site of the explosions, there is a military barracks of the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation. Other sources have not yet confirmed this information. So they tell us the same thing here with the time. Oil tanks were not affected. There is no oil spill. There are no victims. 32 firemen and 11 pieces of equipment were used to extinguish the fire. There is no cause for concern. Now this is, about 300 miles. Tuapse is located around 500 kilometers from the nearest part of the Ukrainian-held territory between the Russian Black Sea coastal city of Novorossiysk to the north and Sochi to the south. Now, Ukraine has not declared that it has an operational weapon system capable of striking so deep into Russian territory, but similar attacks have occurred before late last year. Notably, the Engels 2 air base in Saratov, some 600 kilometers away from the nearest Ukrainian-held territory. In November, Ukraine said it was developing a strike drone with a range of 1,000 kilometers and carrying a 75-kilogram explosive warhead. Yes, that's what Putin said. That actually was all this program was held by NATO, which is in the United States, to be able to do all this. And they modified a Soviet missile. They call it drone. And they with a jet engine, so flies very fast, and they modify so they can, I think, coordinate it so it hit the right target. I mean, it hit the Engels air base, and then one was going towards Moscow maybe 3 weeks ago or so, and it hit the trees or something, because it flies low, so it evades the Russian air defense. So this is the time of drones, and it seems like Ukrainians become a little bit more capable, and I would say that shows urgency, maybe desperation, because when you start using other weapons, what else can be? That means you may be capable now having those weapons, and then using them with a willingness to use them is because the Russians don't do anything about it. Now, should they use it? I mean, the Russians are hitting Ukrainian cities too, so I don't know. If I were with a neighbor and neighbor shoots at my house, I think I have the right to shoot at that guy's house, right? So the same here. If these guys are attacked by the Russians, or Russian troops invaded, as they say, their country, what do you want them to do? Just fight them over there? Say what? Who says that? Anyway, that's for sure. The frequency increased of this kind of attacks, drone attacks within Russia, further in. So the frequency increased. The number of them per day again increased, because they used one and then waited about 2 weeks and then another one or two, and now it seems like there were three at least. The distance is extensive, is big. It's big, so they are hitting from somewhere deep inside Ukraine, and these were modified by some NATO experts, according to the Russians. The Ukrainians claim that those were the weapons they used, and they were modified in. I mean, these missiles were drone called. They were developed by the Soviets in 1970s, and then they were modified, I think, in the 90s, and then in 2006, and probably a few months ago again, probably put on the same par with the radar, so they can be guided. I don't know. You can't shoot something like this as a rocket. Go ballistic and send it. These are missiles. They are command. They are, you put the coordinates and you either send it over there, or you modify the trajectory in flight. Either there, that's a missile right there. So 75 kilograms of explosive, not a big deal if it doesn't fall where it needs to fall. And but anyway, it's still a missile. It still creates panic, because it means you can't hit those guys, and the Russians could not defend. I think it flew over, I would say, over the Black Sea. Why? Because I think the system over the Black Sea, defense system, might be, how should I put it, not covering that much. But on the other hand, the Black Sea being everything flat, even if you fly low, you can be immediately detected by the radars. Whereas if you go over, trees and fly low, let's say 20 meters, 30 meters at the most, high altitude in 30 meters, you don't want to hit any trees. 30 meters will be like 90 feet, 100 feet. You would not hit any trees, right? And you go with that one, and it's going to be harder for the defense systems to operate, to detect you and destroy you. All right, well, I'm going to cover the other explosions, the one by Moscow. That was the one, wow, Moscow, and the other one is by St. Petersburg. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.